Hey guys, this is Weston, aka Reiki Flyer, aka Firestone Light Child. Wanted to talk about a couple things tonight, but also do a quick, or a reading, not quick, but however long it takes. A reading for the collective of the whole planet of humans. And then also a message to the Lightworkers. You know who you are. If you don't worry about it. And also a message to the polarized negative side and the polarized positive side, as well as the polarized mixed. Now, some of you are wondering why the fifth dimensional energy of unconditional love, heaven on earth, has not fully been integrated into our lives and is not being reflected outwardly like you expected. Now, the planet has started the shift. December 21st, 2020 was the start of the shift, which led into the New Year's. And whether these types of shifts are happening or not, New Year's doesn't actually ever have the energetic physicality on the actual planet, usually until around March after the equinox. Now, because the Earth is still a three-dimensional time zone, time is technically not a real thing when we're in the third dimension. It's a very dark, dense, deep material, but once the third dimension is disassembled and removed from the planet, we will be living in more of a fourth and fifth dimension on the fourth density. So basically meaning we're in the fifth dimension, but we're in fourth density. That'd be another subject we can talk about sometime if you are interested, but wanted to talk about a couple things here. So one being, while this is not becoming a physical outwardly expression for you yet, is because those things must be integrated, but we are also waiting for the other humans on the planet to make a decision. And some people don't know that this is an actual choice. If you would want the fifth dimension to express as a positive polarization and negative polarization, or a mixed expression as a polarization, meaning the polarized version of your reality outwardly would only be positive, only negative, or mixed between both, which I kind of feel like that's still what we're going through now. To me, I look at the planet as kind of like if there was a hell, we've been living in it for quite a long time. The control system of the planet has been Earth has been hijacked. A lot of our rights and our birthrights and everything that we've been trying to fight for as light workers have been hijacked, and for a long time, and they've been doing a good job at trying to shift the timeline and making it seem as though end of the world stuff type situations are happening, and fearing or making the people fear everything. Once somebody fears something, everything is completely thrown upside down, because fear is always reflected into your reality and will only reflect as just that. When you have fear inside your mind and your heart, then it will always reflect back to you as that in the world. The world, universe, whatever you want to call it, likes to show us our fears immediately, and will do so first. So try to integrate some of the energies and just do a lot of grounding work, working with your chakras, working with the earth. The earth is ascending, so that's the reason why we are ascending and able to move into this fifth dimensional finally, or fifth dimensional energy finally. Now, Source, aka Creator God, is the collective of all of us put together on this planet. From what I've gathered from being able to speak with the higher self now, which is me, which is you, which is all of us, but there's mini me. I'm gonna put it like this: there's mini me, which is me right now. It's you right now. That's us as a human form on the planet, little tiny us. Then the higher self that I'm speaking with when I'm getting in information, I thought about, and then they kind of confirmed it that was correct. That there's mini me, and then all the other lifetimes that I've lived in has been basically pieces of my soul was fragmented and left in those dimensional lifetimes, I guess I would call them. And so there's pieces of me all over in my past lives, past, present, future lives, whatever it's called. And if you put all of the me's, the mini me's together, all my fingers would be mini me's. Whoosh. So there's mini me. All the me's together would be my higher self, like this guy. Whoosh. And then there's a cloud, which is the veil. And I've described this before, but hopefully this is kind of a better way for you to understand what I view it as. There's the cloud, which is the veil, which means that everything we can't see on the other side, which is, information that's higher than us. I would kind of look at it as like grades when you're in school. There's first grade, fifth, blah, 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 blah. Kindergarten first and up from there. But you don't know what's on the other side until you've got past each grade. And then you get to go to like junior high, middle school, and so forth. So in between those are clouds, I would say, which would be the summertime. And until you keep going up in a linear version of time, you don't know what's on the other side of that. And so information is lacking, I would say. So you're more on the darker side of information. Dark is lack of information. Light is information. So the more light you gather, the less dark in the dark you are about things, the more knowledgeable and wisdom you have. So mini me, right here, me. The mini me's put together, voices in my head, give me information. Put them all together, equals higher self. This guy here on my shirt. Higher self, put all of our higher selves on the planet, all of us humans and animals and insects, put them all together, which is a bunch of mini higher selves. Put those together. There's a cloud above them. They can't see what's on the other side until they've gathered all the higher selves, put them together. And when we remove the veil, the cloud, that equals God. Now, what we call God, or Creator, or the next step. Now, me, I think that there is a level of structure that goes the same type of way. So you put the God, the one above us, one above our higher selves, put all those together. To me, those are a bunch of us put together, and that makes a creator, some kind of creator God. And there's a bunch of them. In my opinion, I think there's a bunch of them. And they are the ones that have control over their own universe and their own planets and their own structures. So put all those together, and it kind of just keeps going up from there. Gods, mini gods, then their higher self would be all the mini gods put together, and then the veils somewhere in between all those, and then above them is another god section. So it's like all these other creator gods. But then eventually I think there probably was an origination of that energy where it started, and that would be considered prime, what would you call that? Central sun, I guess is what a lot of people call it. The main primal creator, the very one from the beginning of creation. But even like I made a video the other day, even God doesn't even know where he's from, because it's been so many times that same sequence of events, and the creators and the humans, higher selves, mini-me's, God, mini-gods, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying. All those have happened so many infinite amounts of times that Source, even Creator God, forgot where the heck they came from, because they're on the same mission to keep learning more, and then they become a bigger entity. When you put them together, Creating more becomes the bigger, more powerful one. Creating more. And every time we create, we bring it back to the central, the big dude, the main lady man dude thing, the it. Excuse me, I'm in a weird, funky mood tonight, but I'm trying to explain the way I see it, the way I think it is. And so it's been replicated so many times that essentially there's just a beginning, but we don't know where that is, and that's probably a good thing, because since we don't know where the beginning started, we don't know where the end is either, and it's probably never, because we just keep bringing more information back to source, and source keeps creating more. That's how the infinite structure, we live forever and ever and ever, because if you didn't keep creating and we didn't keep delivering, then whoosh, that cycle would end, because there would be no way to keep creating if you didn't know what was already created and learn about it and then try to figure out what else you can create. So next topic that kind of correlates with that, on the 6th of January, which is in a couple days, there will be an event that happens around that date. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen that date, but today was a big day because if you look at the videos on my page, Magenta Pixie, who else has been talking about this? There's been quite a few lightworkers. I think even Feel Good. He doesn't like to talk about exact dates and stuff that's happening. It's more about what he channels from a different type of point of view, where through the Octurians especially, he channels about I guess, like, not saying that he's correct about what's going to happen. He doesn't determine specific dates and doesn't talk about certain things based on the collective information that's out there, which is good because it's more of authentic experience from where he's teaching from, I guess, because he's not saying this is the date and bring up all the hype of, like, this is going to happen on this specific major date and woo, the Ascension and the end of the world, or whatever the heck's the norm or the collective, the bigger part of the people are talking about. But anyway, I love Phil. He's awesome. I feel like for me, I just have a knowing and a purpose on the planet that I've kind of experienced from just experiences of what I'm supposed to be here for at this current lifetime and what I'm doing. And that's part of the process of what I'm here for this lifetime, is to help people get into a catapult, whoosh, and shoot them off into the ascension process of creating heaven on earth, just bringing unconditional love to the planet, which I view this heart on me as Jesus, as if Jesus is unconditional love. He's no longer a human, but he had that energy inside of him, and he was bringing that to the planet, trying to get the planet to awaken, and it never happened fully then either. There's been others that have tried that same type of catalyst type experience, trying to get people to shift towards that energy. But the Lumerians, sorry, I can't say that. The Lumerians, they were crystal workers, and I kind of feel like I was part of them because I found out they were crystal workers and they were sending information to the future because their purpose was to bring unconditional love and do what we're doing here right now. Bring fifth dimensional energy to the planet, get people to start becoming one, viewing the world as one, and bringing that energy towards having like a heaven on earth. But Creator God, whichever created them, created us, said, "Nah, I give you all these superpower stuff, and you're using it for service to self." Not all of them. A lot of them were service to others, but the majority of the ones that ended up getting them into a situation of genocide caused. They weren't doing what they were told to do and supposed to do, and they used their powers for negative things and brought on a really bad experience because they all got wiped out. During that point of time, or right before it, they sent information to their future self, the ones that were service to others, the ones trying to change the world to the new earth. Well, they sent information to their future vessel that was going to be a part of this ascension process and try to re-establish what they were trying to do in the first place. So from what I've gathered, I think I was one of them, because I feel like I'm so spiritual and so crazy about it that and I love crystals. I've gathered them my entire life. Had no clue why at first, and slowly just became so aware of everything going on, and it all just clicked together. Learned so much information. I've been able to piece it finally together and be like, wow, this is what's really going on, because the way I've been shown all these packets and packets of modalities of healing and just so much stuff that has to do with unconditional love and being a catalyst for the planet, and just knowing things that, how the would I even know this? Because I've never been taught this information from this standpoint in life. I've never been taught. We're downloads and basically me remembering who I really am and where I came from originally. And one of those was finding out that I'm a feminine and internal energy, empathetic, loving, motherly, all those things. I am a masculine energy, but more so on the feminitic, I can't even know if that's a word, feminine side of internally, how I look at other situations, how I feel energies and emotions, and how I treat people is more on the feminine aspect. I do have masculine outwardly. I'm more attracted to masculine people for sexually, I guess, and so I'm trying to balance that all, which is the point of us on this planet, to be more balanced. But those Lumerians were here to do something and bring unconditional love to the planet and help the ascension process. And because they were so badass and cool, some of them that were service to self, they weren't so cool, but they got wiped out. They were just on a learning adventure, just like we all are. I pretty much determined that I am one of them, and they sent information to me as a vessel in the future, and they were able to incarnate into me, whoever my Lumerian name was, whoever that soul was, my soul, was able to incarnate into this body and send me the information from the past through the crystals into the future. I do have a Lumerian crystal, and I haven't used it yet for that. I kind of just clicked there. I haven't used it to get the information of remembering that, which is exactly what those crystals do. They store history and information and knowledge and stuff. So I'm going to try to use that. But anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place. To round it all out, I am that Lumerian that sent the information from the past as a crystal technology worker, and I am here in this body now to bring unconditional love to the planet and help the ascension process and bring heaven to earth. Which means heaven has not been anywhere but an idea, or not a place yet, essentially. We've been taught that heaven is a place you go when you die. Not yet, motherfuckers. Not yet. But when heaven comes to earth, guess where all those people that have passed away, where they went? To the other side. They've been hanging out over there. Which means, just because we make it to heaven on earth doesn't mean they come from their location to that new heaven on earth, because there was really no such thing yet, essentially. So Grandma's gonna stay on the other side until she's done learning from that side of the realm, which is basically here on the earth but in another dimension. And they are learning. It's like a big school again, like here. But this time, those bitches get to learn from higher ascended masters and cool people. So Dolores Canyon, which is my hero, she's over there with my Grams, and they're all learning together from like Jesus and Buddha and all the cool ones that are ascended masters. They're doing some work over there because there's a bigger picture than what we ever thought. So heaven has not been anywhere yet, but it's coming to earth, and it's here, kind of. It's not fully integrated yet, so some of us experience heaven on earth. Dimensions aren't places, they're perceptions. Perceptions aren't places except for your reality, and your reality is nothing except for how you view your perception, and you help allow your perception to be. So, if you want your perception and your reality to change, if you want your reality to change your fucking not reception, your perception. Because if you don't, you'll always get what you expect. You preconceive things, you're going to get those things that you preconceive. Meaning, if you hate me and you know I'm always annoying the crap out of you, that's all you'll ever see from me. If you know that it's a possibility that even though I know you a lot of the times, that there is some sort of goodness or something else inside of me, and you allow that to be a perceived thought, and kind of have a knowing that, yeah, he annoys the crap out of me, but I know he's a good person and there's going to be some other things shown to me, then that opens the doors to everything being possible. If you don't believe it, probably won't see it either. If you do believe it, you might see it everywhere you go. But the problem is if you believe it, even though it's not an actual thing or it's not authentically real and truth, it still makes it real. Because if whatever you believe and you perceive to be real will always be your truth in your reality. So if everybody believes a lie or something that's not true or real, then it's still real. Because even though it's not authentically real and what's really going on, your perception made it that way. It made it whatever you view it as. And if you're not open enough to have a perception that has different possibilities than what you're actually trying to hold into place, you'll only see what you're holding into place. So if you don't like me or the president or whoever, change your perception. Allow the possibility of good things to come through. Whether that actually happens or not, I can't determine that for you, but it allows you to be able to receive authentically information that you can view that changes what you actually thought about that person, place, thing, or whatever. Change your perception, you can change your entire world. Purposely change your perception to view things in a particular way is how you control what you view and experience, which is a part of heaven on earth. So do you want to experience crap and things you don't like, or do you want to experience everything you like and love and want to experience? And actually, that you are comfortable with. Either way is okay, but wouldn't you rather experience the things you do want and the things that you actually are comfortable with and care about? Then change your fucking perception, because it'll never, ever, ever, ever be anything but how you think it is. Might be too deep for you, but think about it, because it's huge. If you want to change your world around you, change your thoughts and your perception on how you view those things and how you are sometimes controlling those and holding those into place. And the things you don't like, you're purposely or not purposely causing that situation to be a particular way. If you don't like it, change it. But the only way to do that is change your perception of the situation. You can turn it into anything you want, because you are the creator based on thought. Thought is the only way you manifest reality into physicality. Boom. Whoosh. I know, I'm in a crazy freaking mood. I hope you understood what I was saying. Okay, so off that subject now. So what I was saying on the 6th, there's going to be an event that occurs with the President of the United States of America, which means Mr. Trump. I love him. I say whatever I want. He does whatever he wants, authentically, whether it's genuine shadow or genuine not shadow, positive side, whatever. At least they're genuine and they say whatever they want and they're authentic. Because I'm pretty sure in your reality, if you were to get a president or a person that is in charge of the country, you would probably want a genuine shadow versus an ingenuine shadow making decisions. Because either way, they're a shadow, but one is authentically that way. The other one's just a fake, false thing. So, to me, I think he is able to manifest whatever the hell he wants because he knows he can get it, and his thoughts create reality, and boom. He also says everything he wants to. He doesn't think about what not to say and what you're going to be uncomfortable with, because he's authentic. So there's no need to put sugar coats all over everything. He's like Cartman. He does what he wants, and like me, I do what I want. Whatever, guys, I do what I want. Like Cartman says, you know. So anyway, touchy subject, I know, but whatever. You'll deal with it. Second part of that is there is England, which is another part of the two places on the planet. England, United States. They're on the eyes of the entire planet. Everybody's eyes are on them right now because there's some things that are happening that will cause the ascension process. But those two are the most important and being viewed all around the world. So Mr. T is going to remain the president. He's not going anywhere, folks. I'm sorry. I know that's very confident of me to say, but it's a reality that will be in existence very soon for all of us. And there's kind of no choice to change that because of how Creator, God, Source, our highest us all put together. So it's still you is correcting the situation of heaven not being here. So there's no more choice now. Creator said, I'm fixing this, finally. We were supposed to be there, but now we're going to go there, no choice. And here's how it's going to happen. Second part of that is the Mr. J, the guy in control of the England place. He's a part of that too, so he just decided he was going to shut down the entire country and make them go inside again and be locked up for the stupid COVID-19 that they're using for control. I know. People are dying. Whatever. They were going to die either way. The soul chooses all that. If you are an informational person that has received information or has educated yourself onto this information, the soul is the one that chooses everything that we are experiencing here on this planet individually. So, if you die, guess what? You're not dead. Your soul has decided to leave the body that you're in and move on to the next lesson. So, whether this sounds horribly non-empathetic or whatever, your soul chose that moment of time when it leaves the fucking planet and goes back to another vessel. So guess what? You're gonna die anyway. You're not dead anyway, actually. So stop fearing death. It's really sad to see a lot of people so worried about dying and leaving what they love so much, even though they bitch all the time about how horrible everything is on the planet. Then die and go somewhere else, move on. But you can't, because guess what? You want to die or not, your body and your brain, you don't get to until your soul chose the moment of time for that to happen. Except sometimes people kill themselves. And when you kill yourself, it's not going back to where you think it's going. You're starting over and you have to redo it all and experience that same thing until you have learned from it and all the soul contracts that you broke from killing yourself. Point of the story is you don't get to choose whether you're going to die or not from COVID-19. Guess what does? The soul. And if it chose that, then so be it. But if it did not, most likely it did not. Stop believing and stop being so worried about death and being so selfish. Because guess what? So many people have experienced so many different worse experiences than COVID-19 and have been suffering on this planet from those experiences and diseases and whatever the hell's wrong with them. Way worse than this COVID-19 crap. You probably would want to die from COVID-19 compared to some of the shit that people's been through. So stop worrying about yourself and being so goddamn selfish. Stop worrying like you're gonna die. It's you, me, I'm gonna die. Get away from me, blah, blah, blah. Because it's sickening. Because in the long run, you're gonna die anyway. And you don't get to choose when that happens. And when you actually realize that your soul is just moving on to the next step, then it won't matter worth crap that you've been stuck on this planet about ready to die from COVID-19. Because there's a lot bigger picture. So wake up to that if you're able to. Otherwise, stop bitching. Because you have no idea if you believe in such a creator and this religious stuff that the God of the Bible tells you supposedly, if you read your Bible properly, it doesn't say any of that, but the God of the Bible would not allow such things to happen to you as though you are worried about them and the way that everything is going down. Because the God of the Bible, first of all, is not real. But there is a God, there's a real God that's unconditional, loving, and all those things that the God of the Bible is supposed to be. But he is not. Essentially, what I'm trying to get to is stop being so fucking selfish. Just deal with the COVID-19 thing is. Be stronger and more knowing and knowledgeable about. If you truly believe in God, then you would know for a fact that you don't need to be afraid of COVID-19 and all these people that are fear-based people and structures that are trying to push that fear onto you. And guess what? Do you want to continue to be a slave of all that crap? No. I'm sure you don't. But if you do, keep wearing your mask and keep believing everything you're told and don't question a thing, because then you will continue to live that way. But if you want to go to New Earth, which is heaven, which is the place that a lot of light workers have been pushing so much effort and so much of their time into, while getting shammed and slammed and called conspiracy theorists and a bunch of crap, whatever else people want to say, you may be crazy, but crazy with information. But also, when this does happen, you don't even have to say a word, which you probably won't, because you'll probably feel pretty bad about what you've done to treat people the way you've treated them when us light workers, conspiracy theorists, whatever the fuck you want to say that we are, when you realize that we were actually correct. None of us want to hear, oh, you were right, or blah, 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 blah. You aren't going to hear from us. Hopefully those people aren't going to say this to you, but I told you so, see? Nah, 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 nah. No, you're just going to know that you feel like crap because of the way you've been treating us for a long time and the things that you've done to shun us away and make us seem like we are separate and that we're crazy. It probably won't feel very good for a while, but I don't want that on anybody. Just hope you really think about that now before it actually happens, because when it does happen and you realize that you were wrong, it's going to feel probably not very nice. And if it doesn't feel that way, so be it, but that's not very nice and loving and kind. If you don't feel bad about hurting somebody, that's pretty shitty for you. That's my opinion, but whatever. I don't need to know that you believe me to know that I'm proud of what I've been doing and to know that I am actually on the proper path of the soul that I am. And also, when I realize that we are all one, I would never want to hurt any of those, because, and essentially when we put it all together, the big picture is we are one and we are only one, and if we hurt another person, we're only hurting ourselves. So if I stab that person in the back, that person is me, so I'm stabbing myself in the back, including animals, plants, any type of organism, anything that's alive.